I did it, guys. I've become the Pokemon Leggings ZA, and I have some thoughts. So, I really liked Legends Arceus. It's one of my favorite Pokemon games. I loved the larger focus on catching and researching Pokemon. When Legends ZA was announced, I was on board right away. Especially because everyone was expecting a Gen 5 based game. This seems like a game the team wanted to make. The only other time I felt like that with a game in the Switch era was with Arceus. And then they pushed it back by a year, which is huge. I made a video talking about it in the past, but one of the main issues plaguing modern Pokemon games is the dev time. Go watch it after this one. It's one of my better takes in my opinion. While you're at it, let me know how you feel about ZA down below. And if you want more videos on games and pop culture, feel free to subscribe. For me, I'm happy to say this game did meet my expectations. I actually really enjoyed it, but there are some issues that are kind of hard to ignore. Good Arceus, the windows are so flat on the vast majority of buildings. This is one of those things that happens when you don't give a team enough dev time. There are some buildings that have depth to them, which is a crazy concept, but they're all important buildings that you constantly go to, so it makes sense that they bothered to do it. I found it very distracting for the first chunk of the game, but the more I played and the more I enjoyed it, I stopped noticing it. There's also some noticeable pop-in some locations. Those are all things that are only here because the team still isn't given enough time. And those were all of the technical hiccups I really noticed. I played it on Switch too, and I don't think I ever noticed it lag. It could have, but I just didn't retain it. It was locked in at 60. My only issue with the gameplay is the changes to the research system. Like I said, my favorite thing about Legends Arceus was catching and researching Pokemon. In that game, every Pokemon had a checklist of stuff that built towards your research rating. And if you fully finished the research on a Pokemon, it would increase the shiny rate. Really fun system in my opinion. It's a lot like Xenoblade 2's Blade Affinity chart. In ZA, it's not per Pokemon, it's a general research rating. As an example, it's catch 15 of this type instead of catch 15 of this Pokemon. I get why they did it, and I understand why people would prefer this system over the other. I know this game had a bigger focus on battling compared to catching Pokemon, but I'm still a little bummed about the change. But you know what? When that's my biggest issue with the gameplay, I'm laughing. The battling is the best it's ever been. It's no longer turn-based. It's real-time and the attacks are cooldown-based. It's very Xenoblade coded. I'm now just realizing my ideal Pokemon game might just play exactly like Xenoblade. And this new combat changes the Pokemon formula so much in a fun way that I wasn't expecting. I found I wasn't spamming a single move throughout an entire battle because it has a cooldown. Very early on, I was cycling through all of my moves. I don't think I've ever used the early game status effects this much because it was a waste not to. It opens up a lot of other possibilities when you have to use 2 other moves before the first one is off cooldown. They could have put everything on a global cooldown system too, but I think that would have ruined it completely. Protecting moves have also become way more fun to use. Instead of it happening before any attacks go off and you're just protected throughout the entire turn, it feels more like a parry, especially with Spike Shield on Chestnut. A bunch of moves have been converted to AoE traps. Physical attacks tend to have the Pokemon charge towards the target before hitting them, or launches them straight through them. Special moves tend to be launched at a distance or beside you. The best example I noticed of how diverse special moves can be was with Gardevoir. I was running Mystic Fire, Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, and Calm Mind. Mystic Fire was a forward fan AoE, Dazzling Gleam was an AoE around the user, and Psychic was a ranged attack on the target. So not only was I using moves for type advantage, I was also using them in an order that benefited from my positioning. If there were a lot of Pokemon in front of me, I would go for Mystic Fire. If there was a bunch around me, I would use Dazzling Gleam. If they were low or were a special attacker that kept trying to hit me from range, I would use Psychic. The battling is actually so fun in this. I hope they keep this system in future Legends games, and bring back Arceus' research system. Merging these 2 games is kind of my dream Pokemon game. I've only done a few online battles, and they're pretty solid 4-way matches. While there's a bunch of depth that was added to this game's combat system that I wasn't expecting, there are some situations where it kind of ruined some Pokemon. I don't know how many were ruined, but it obliterated my boy Aegislash. In turn-based games, it's one of the most fun Pokemon to use. The form switching leads to so many fun mind games. In this setting, it kept getting rolled while switching without fail. I hate to say this because Aegislash is one of my favorite Pokemon. It's borderline unusable in this system. Leave it as a doublade if you want to see competitive success. else. It's really hard to be a glass cannon in this game in general because it's not turn-based. Even then, those are examples of how much the system really changes Pokemon, and it's at its best when you're in the battle zones. It's fun running through those areas trying to get the jump on trainers and win as many fights as possible. I was really having a blast during all of them. I kind of wish there was an online version of them because they're so fun. The bonus challenges you get during them are fine, they're nothing major. They kind of feel like battle pass challenges to get bonus experience, which is fitting for the ZA Royale. I just can't believe jumping people is a core mechanic of this game. The big boss battles are way better here. Arceus' mixture of a dodge phase and a battle phase didn't really mesh that well for me. I like them individually, but together they just weren't working. Here, because of the real-time battle system, it flowed way better. It's fun dodging all the attacks while trying to get your Pokemon to land hits. Some of the fights felt weirdly MMO-y, like there's DPS and tank checks in some of them. But I've also been playing a lot of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV this year, so that might be why I'm making that connection. Mega Pokemon are also back too, thank God, and they work differently. Instead of being limited to 1 mega per battle, it's a meter that builds up, and while your mega is out, it slowly drains. You can still only have 1 mega at a time, but if they get knocked out or the timer runs out, you can build the meter again and mega evolve another Pokemon. There's also plus moves that consumes a third of the meter, and that does a great job of keeping Pokemon who can't mega evolve in fights. What else can I say? It's the best battle system Pokemon's ever had. While the battling is a huge step up from Arceus, the wild zones are a step down from its segmented open world. The overgrown city locations are just not as interesting as Ancient Sinnoh. The actual act of catching Pokemon is still just as fun though, and the real-time battles actually does a lot for catching Pokemon. I think my dream version of this game has like 10 wild zones and 2 or 3 areas outside of the city to explore. I get why they didn't do that though, because this whole game is centered around Lumiose. It would be weird to leave. Maybe in the next Legends game they can have a big hub town like this and a bunch of areas around the region that you can go to. That being said, I did enjoy exploring the city. As you know, I am a psycho who doesn't like fast traveling in games set in cities, so I walked around everywhere here and I liked it. It's fun jumping between rooftops, doing those little platforming challenges, and running past coffee shops and deciding to go grab a drink. I love it when games put little vendors around the world, and this game does a good job of that. My only complaint is that I wish there were more buildings you could go into. The customization in this is easily the best out of any Pokemon game. The different hair options, especially with the dyes, is great. I do wish there were more male long hair options, but that's just a hell every guy with long hair lives with when it comes to games. Honestly, clothing-wise, I think it's one of the best I've seen in a game in recent years. There are a lot of outfits in this that I feel like I would actually wear. I just hope they don't leave good customization in Kalos again. The story was fine. There are some parts of it that I did really like, but it's for meta reasons that I won't get into here because of spoilers. The MZ crew is probably my favorite cast of Pokemon characters in a very long time. They're like the polar opposite from the crew in X and Y. Fun and interesting instead of boring and bland. Pokemon Legends ZA might not hit some insane moments like its older brother did, or have an interesting research system, but it makes up for it with the most fleshed out battle system, fun multiplayer and replacement for gym battles, better boss fights, and a solid cast of characters. Legends continues to prove that when this team is making a game that they are truly passionate about, the only thing that is holding them back is the amount of time they have to work on it, leading to a very solid 8 out of 10. Now, give them 1 more year to make the next game, please. Again, if you want my take on what the problem with Pokemon is, that video will be in the end card and the description. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Like the video if you think I committed the cardinal sin of enjoying a modern Pokemon game, and subscribe for more content. Follow me on other platforms if you want, like Twitch. Probably going to be doing shiny hunting streams every Wednesday now that I beat the game. Take care, guys.